Morning, everyone. I'm Michael Ross. I'm the co-founder and chief scientist at Order Dynamics. I spent the last 20 years in e-commerce. I was 5 years at McKinsey in the mid-90s. I then spent 8 years in women's underwear as the founder and CEO of figleaves.com. Experience I can only describe as a little up and down. And then the last 8 years as co-founder of Order Dynamics, and I also sit on a number of boards and advise a number of multi-channel retailers. Order Dynamics is a SaaS business which we define as software and a service, and we are focused on retail, and we're at the epicenter of the transformation of multi-channel retail. Our vision is to help retailers turn data into insight and insight into profitable action. When I think about retail, I think we are right at the beginning of the digital revolution. Bezos, in his letters to shareholders every year, keeps saying that this is day one. My analogy is I think we're at the point that physical retail was in the 1830s. At the core is a revolution in the way that businesses are going to make decisions. Decisions are the outcome of, for me, of big data. The desired end product of big data is a decision. In the words of the great AI pioneer, Dr. Barney Pell, if data doesn't help you make a better decision, the data is worthless. And I think it's one of the many challenges in this environment at the moment is people get very excited about the data. We don't. I get excited about decisions. And I think there are 4 things driving the decision challenge. The first one is the atomization of actions and decisions. Someone yesterday I heard described it as nano actions. There's a vast number of decisions for retailers that used to be made at store level are now made at customer level or customer session level. Retailers used to make decisions on how much money to spend on television advertising every year. They're now making decisions across millions of keywords or millions of marketing events every few minutes. And decisions in the past on products about how many units to buy and when to mark down. There are now hundreds of fine-grained decisions to make on a day-to-day basis about the exposure and optimization of different actions relating to products. So lots and lots of actions, maybe 100 or 1,000 times as many decisions that retailers have to make today versus what they did in a purely physical world. There's obviously a vast amount of data. No surprise to everyone in the room, but this is digital exhaust data coming at you from many different angles, anonymous, known data, siloed data, joined data, huge amounts of data to make sense of. Thirdly is the complexity, the economic complexity. A lot of traditional decisions in retail are pretty binary. Retailers will say they either have too much inventory or not enough. What we now see is a lot of variable costs. The economics of retail have changed. There are variable per order costs and per customer costs that simply didn't exist in the physical world. And the economics of marketing are much, much more complicated. So fundamentally, retailers are needing to rethink the basic equations of retail. And finally, there's a lack of visibility. A lot of retail works in that you can walk the floor. You can physically see what's going on. When people make a decision or take an action, you can go back a week later and you can see what's happened. Not so online. The decisions and the actions are buried. So this has a lot of implications for how retailers are making decisions or not making decisions. I see a lot of what I would call decision dysfunction. People making bad decisions. People making decisions at too aggregate a level. People applying traditional retail logic that no longer applies, or accepting default decisions, presuming that software vendors understand the right decisions to make. And this is what's creating what I and we're calling a ghost economy. Across all of the people I work with and all the retailers I talk to, I see many unachievable plans, business plans built by multiplying a conversion rate by an average order value by a number of visitors, which is an exercise in multiplication, not in planning. That leads to unsustainable business plans where people fail to understand the growth dynamics driven by customer acquisition, customer retention, and churn. We spend a lot of our time thinking about inventory, and I see millions and millions of dollars of inventory sitting in warehouses, not on websites, or actually published to the websites, but no one's looking at them. or people are looking at them but no one's buying them. Equally, I'm seeing millions of dollars of marketing money being spent sending traffic to products that don't exist, or sending traffic to products that aren't converting, or sending traffic to products that would happily sell out without any additional marketing spend. We're seeing a large percentage of loss-making customers. One retailer we looked at recently, 25% of their customers lost them money. Very easy to do with free delivery, free returns, and high promotional spend. Amazon, for me, are the grandmasters at this game. Whether or not you like their business model, they really have rethought how to think and manage their business and put data at the heart. Amazon, for me, learned more from Toyota than from Tesco, and they've learned fundamentally understanding that this concept of focusing on controllable inputs is key to their success. What does that mean, and why is it important? In physical retail, most of your costs are fixed. And so a retailer who has, say, 100 stores can look at their store like-for-likes, this year's sales over last year's sales. And as one retailer says to me, he said, Michael, if all of my stores are up 5% except for one store, which is down 5%, I don't need a PhD to work out there's a problem in that store. And he said, you know what? I can actually visit the store, and I can probably tell you in 30 seconds what's going wrong. In physical retail, you can look at the outcomes and diagnose what's going on. Not so online. Online, looking at outcomes, looking at conversion rate, at average order value, tells you nothing. Bezos applied the logic of control theory, developed in the 1870s, to make sense of the Industrial Revolution, and applied the same principles to running Amazon. To give you one example, one of Amazon's most fundamental metrics is page-weighted price competitiveness. Are we price competitive on the products customers are looking at? It's an obvious metric. It's a metric I've only met 2 other retailers in the world who actually track, and it's a metric that drives action. Very, very fundamental to Amazon's way of thinking. And our vision is quite simply bringing the genius of Amazon to the rest of the world. What are we doing at Order Dynamics? We're bringing data from across the retail enterprise, analytics data, customer data, marketing data, merchandising data, operational data, into a single central view, focused on solving 3 problems. We bring the data together, try what we call a digest, diagnose, and do. Digest is a single view of profit. How's business? Am I doing well? Am I doing badly? And understanding profit by customer, by product, by order. Diagnose is then systematically, algorithmically de-averaging. If my performance is down, why is it down? Do I have a customer issue? Do I have a geography issue? Do I have a marketing channel issue? Do I have a category issue? When you look at these things in aggregate, it's impossible to understand what's going on. And then finally, and most importantly, what do I actually do? We have codified over 500 action lists of things that retailers are actually able to go and do, prioritized by impact on profit. This is an example of what the product looks like. Very profit-focused, so you can see profit on the left, and this is an example of how profit disaggregates into profit per order, volume of orders. The outcome metrics are on the left, the input metrics are on the right. So this is about systematically helping retailers understand what's driving their profit. And then the other extreme, this is an action list. I've run out of time, so I'll have to be very brief, but this, for example, is a list of products that are overstocked, that are getting no marketing traffic. A very, very simple list that retailers can go in action, and requires about 6 different data sources to be connected to actually deliver this. We're very lucky to work with some of the most sophisticated. We have $6 billion clients, the likes of Tesco, Victoria's Secret, Sears, Neiman Marcus, all of whom have recognized that what we're doing is hard. Many of them tried to do this themselves and failed. And it's important and it's critical for driving profitable growth over the next period. And just to finish, for me, this is just the beginning. This is a chart from Gartner that lays out the evolution from business intelligence, reporting, looking at what's happened, to where we are today, which is, I would say, prescriptive analytics, decision support, and the future, which is decision automation. So much as the Industrial Revolution inexorably led to the automation of manufacturing, we are right at the beginning of the automation of commerce. Thank you very much.